Welcome back to Spiritual Rebirth Tarot. I'm Dr. Madeline Fletcher, and today I would like to talk about married couples, the two different people in the relationship, and the connection. So I'm not going to talk about whether it's a male or a female, because we can be married and be two men or two women. I tend to be more of a male, divine masculine, it seems like, from the way my readings usually go. So it's hard to say who it will resonate with. So I would just like to talk about the two people involved and then the connection, and then we'll ask some other basic questions about that. So today I was able to have an attunement in Reiki. That was a very enlightening experience. I feel like it's going to have a major impact on my life, little by little, bit by bit, as I practice and use the skill that has been given to me. So I believe it's a real blessing and an honor, and I hope to be able to give back in that way. So the first thing I would like to start with is this Well-Being Oracle card from the Abraham Hicks deck. And so we can start with a little bit of Reiki, recharging of the deck, and we'll do some. Oh, it didn't seem to fix my ability to shuffle cards. Well, maybe slightly. I'm just kidding. So it's not a miracle cure. It's simply another tool in the handbag of healing. And I like to consider myself a healer, even though many times it can also become a mental healing as well as physical in what we are doing. So let's cut the deck, take a look, see what we're being given today. It says, to allow well-being, I must be in joy. So can we see the card there? In the same way, you cannot set your radio tuner to 98.6 and receive the songs playing on 101 FM. You must set your own vibrational tuner to one of well-being. Feelings of love, joy, passion, exhilaration, fun, interest are indications of your vibrational match to well-being. So the concept of well-being is interesting. There's a book that I've read by Brené Brown, The Gifts of Imperfection, and she's looking at people who have a life of well-being, and they're able to offer more to the world. And so instead of loneliness, they have connectedness. Instead of fear, they have courage, and those kind of things. So I highly recommend the book. Really helps you look at yourself in a new light. And so here we're talking about well-being. To allow well-being, I must be in joy. So as our vibrational channels are open to the things that are positive, it will bring more well-being into our lives. And the other thing I'd like to look at is the chakra and the messages that we can have there. So the experience with Reiki 1 and the attunement, and being able to have the unlimited energy come through you. So instead of trying to use healing modalities that actually deplete you, Reiki is able to use the power is in the universe, the abundant power, and bring that into other people's lives. So the first person that used it and developed it and was basically given the gift of Reiki, one of the things he used it for was an earthquake. And he was able to help person after person after person without fatigue, because it wasn't his own power, it was the power of the source and the universe. All right. Clarity. So, it's a, you see that? It's a picture of some absolutely pure crystals that are coming up out of the ground, all different sizes, and you pretty much can see through them. And so it's interesting to me that both of these cards have like the snow in them. And so when we're looking at the snow here, the snow is falling and there's an angel in the snow. And here we have snow around the crystals with a dark sky. And so sometimes the darkness has to do with something on the inside. So in this case, you might be talking about clarity of spirit and clarity of understanding. And it's not just seeing with your eyes, but it's also seeing with your mind and your heart. Okay, so since we're talking to a married couple, as you are going through your marriage, obviously you want to have a marriage that's full of well-being, and in order to do that, you're going to have joy and to have a vibrational match. And so as you can join each other and have a vibrational match of joy, you will have more well-being in your relationship, and that can come through the blessing of the angels. As far as the clarity, I definitely think that in a marriage we would want quite a bit of clarity in our speech, in our understanding of what each other is trying to say. So not only do we want to listen, we want to listen with understanding. And so probably in order to get clarity, you need to ask the right questions of the person that you're with. Okay, so we're going to start with some cards here. I spent quite a bit of time shuffling these. So alright, start with these three. The Hermit, Four of Cups, and Knight of Wands. Seven of Wands, Three of Wands, the Sun. So the Sun, we have Leo, which is a fire sign. Both the Wands are fire sign. There's a wand over here, the Knight of Wands with the fire sign. So there's a very good chance that one of the people in this relationship is a fire sign. Strength. So this is the connection, strength, Six of Cups, and Queen of Cups. And then the overall energy for the reading is the Devil. And so let's see where that goes. And under the Devil is the High Priestess. So for the overall energy, something is keeping you bound. Maybe bound from really having the clarity that you need to have in your relationship, or bound in a way that you don't have the well-being that you'd like to have in that relationship. And the High Priestess is saying, if you follow your intuition, you follow those feelings in your heart, you bring into your life more of the mysterious and the divine, it will help you to break those bonds. And the one person involved, the Hermit, the Four of Cups, and the Knight of Wands. So the Knight of Wands is not the King of Wands. So the Knight of Wands has the passion and the drive toward creativity, but they do it in a much more aggressive, quick sort of fashion. And it's interesting to me to have the Hermit with the Knight of Wands. So it might be that this person externally is a little young and straightforward, but they are spending time thinking and growing inside. And part of that, this Four of Cups, you have the cups, you're being offered the cup, but you don't really see yourself as having it. So there's a little bit of a self-esteem problem. So that I'm definitely getting the feeling that there's a little self-esteem type of problem here. Probably is a fire sign, and I apologize, I haven't memorized all of the signs yet. Should I look it up? The Hermit, is Virgo. Okay. So we could have a fire sign, which is Leo, Sagittarius, and Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. Or we could have a Virgo. And I'm thinking that we have somebody who's having a little bit of issues with their self-esteem, but they come across as fairly brash and bold, but inside they're really questioning themselves and not knowing quite where to go. So the other person in the relationship, Seven of Wands, has to do with having victory over many opponents, which takes a lot of courage. So there's courage. Three of Wands, we're looking out at a lot of prosperity and the sun, happiness. You know, my gut feeling is this is a guy and this is a girl, but you know, it could be the male energy and the female energy. So let's say, because you know, it could be both guys or both girls or binary or any of the other combinations that we might have when we come together. And the sun has, you know, the joyous, happy, you know that things are going well. This girl, this individual has a lot of beauty, a lot of happiness, and they are being very courageous, and they have quite a bit of success. So as this courage and success moves forward and helps them in their happiness. So there's a little bit of an imbalance between the hermit, kind of quiet, internal, yet tries to look happy, and the other person who is fairly well accomplished, has fought a lot of battles, and is starting to find happiness in their life. So that could be why we're having a little trouble with the well-being, because maybe this person has a little bit less joy in their life than they would like to have, and they aren't looking at the positive as much as they should, and maybe there's more clarity in one of their eyes than in the other. And that's where this feeling of this devil is coming in between the two. There's a misconnection. Now, the other thing the devil could show is that there's some kind of an addiction, some kind of third party, or something getting in the way of these two in their connection. So let's take a look at the connection, see what we have going on. Strength, Six of Cups, and Queen of Cups. You know, it's just an interesting reading. Each one has one of the major arcana. So the Hermit, so someone who's an introvert. The Sun, someone who's an extrovert, like a sanguine, and this would be more like sanguine choleric, yeah. And this would be definitely more of the introverted side of things, melancholy. Of course, I can't think of the other word. You can put it in my comments. Okay, so, and also subscribe for me so that hopefully more people can hear about what we're doing. So, Strength, Six of Cups, which there's children that are happily playing with wealth, success, but also with heart and emotions. So well-adjusted children. And the Queen of Cups, a lot of love and romantic love, kind of a mature type of love, and strength. So I really feel that with a little clarity and a little bit more joy, maybe overcoming whatever this obstacle is, the potential of this connection, you know, includes children, a happy home, strength, because these battles have been won and fought, and love is really a potential between you guys. So let's do a little bit of additional questions. We might say, how do other people see your connection? Yeah. All right. So how do others see your connection? How do others see your connection? So, you know, when it comes to marriage, sometimes a little more clarity can bring out a lot more strength and love into the situation. So how do others see your connection from the outside? All right. Okay, we have the Hermit again. We have 10 of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, Two of Cups, Queen of Wands, and the Hermit. So that's like an excellent grouping. We have, from the outside, we're being seen as a union of an extrovert and an introvert, that when one person is starting out with some new goals in their lives and a new direction, and the other has a lot of wealth. And so that's where that discrepancy lies, that we were noticing that one person is more established and the other person is a little quieter, not quite as well established. Because of that, they're having a little bit more low self-esteem. So what I've been doing is just put these cards back in so that I can bring them up. I don't have to have 50 different sets of cards. So very likely we have a Virgo and a Leo. A Virgo and a Leo. That would really make sense for this whole scenario. An earth and a fire. Earth and fire. You put those two together, what you gonna get? So the next question that we have is, what are the blocks that you are facing right now in your connection? What are the blocks that you're facing in your connection? What are the blocks that you're facing in your marriage? Or, you know, I'm okay with if you didn't actually go down to the justice of the peace. It's a marriage to you. That's the way I see it. It's a long-term union, very likely a marriage of that sort in your own mind. Okay, all right. The Star, Queen of Pentacles, Five of Cups, Seven of Wands, Five of Wands, and the Emperor. So I think that a lack of hope and pessimism and a sense of having a lot of battles and conflict in your life has kind of run you down. And then also not having that similarity, but the nice thing is we have the Queen of Pentacles and we have the Emperor. So this is Aries and these are the earth signs. So I think we're looking at the fact that these two are pretty equal, but you guys aren't. So one of your blocks is get a little bit more on the same page, or else don't feel bad about it, because this is the pessimism card. So don't feel bad about that. And you know, just a lack of hope and that kind of thing. And then also not having the courage to fight when you need to. So that's a big one. You know, there are times when, in order to have clarity, you have to discuss something. And that is one thing in my past relationships that I am extremely horrible at, is actually discussing the issues. And it's funny because I have such an open throat chakra, and yet when it comes to those most important things in life, I have the hardest time talking about it. So that is the blocks that you are looking at. And what are the actions and advice for you? Actions and advice for you. So in this relationship, this long-term committed relationship, I'll put that on the title, a committed relationship connection reading. Okay. So in this long-term connected relationship, what would be the actions and advice that you guys could take to make it even better, to go to that Queen of Cups scenario? Okay. Okay, Five of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, Page of Cups, Page of Wands. I was going to say Page of Swords. Oh my goodness. Queen of Wands, the Tower. Okay, so King of Swords, Queen of Cups. Yeah, that's too much for me. Okay, so I think that the major advice that we have here, I don't feel like those are part of it. The advice is that you really want to avoid a meltdown or a breakdown. And the best way to do that is to look at these, you know, adding joy to your life, to create more well-being in the relationship, doing what's necessary to have clarity. You can certainly spend some time researching and studying how to talk to each other better, because we want to avoid the Tower if we can. It's kind of usually an immediate problem. So you do need to take care of something. That devil is getting in the way. And again, what we're looking at is pages, which are young, inexperienced people. You know, we've got anywhere from the internet, how we're feeling, messaging, starting out with business, but I haven't gotten that far yet. And then we have the Queen of Wands, who is juggling too many things at once. So the Queen of Wands is, you know, one of the people, the person who's more successful, that's really out there all the time, just working, and not really spending time with the relationship, and then boom, it falls apart. Or there's the person who just feels like there's a real lack, you know. This, you know, there's a lack. There's a lack in this connection. There's a lack in this relationship. They feel like they're the lack, that they're not enough for the situation, and that will also lead to the boom. So one person needs to really work on their self-esteem. So how do you work on your self-esteem? Well, one thing you can start with is, you read the book, You Can Heal Your Life. She talks about it tons. First thing you do is you look in the mirror every morning and say, I'm willing to change, and everything is always going my way. Everything is always going my way. This is not going your way. This is thinking about all the ways that are not going your way, instead of and thinking of all the things that you really should be, which the one that's missing is the Page of Swords, so that's the most important. So the Queen of Wands is so busy doing her work and doing her stuff, she's not noticing that this Tower is about ready to come into her life. Okay, so the final question is, what are the messages that we're looking for from the universe and your higher self? Okay, so let's say from the universe, and we'll do 3 cards. 3 cards from the universe for the two of you in this relationship. 3 cards from the universe. Reset the energy. Make sure we got a new thing coming from the universe for you. This is the way I prefer getting cards, but it can take forever if the card you're looking for is practically on the top. Okay. So, the Magician, I don't remember which order it was in. No, it doesn't matter to me in this case. The Magician, the Page of Cups, and the Knight of Wands. And underneath the deck is the Ten of Pentacles. So once again, we have a lot of wealth, success, stability, and on the other side we have very young, passionate love, moving forward. This is kind of what I was talking before, this, brash appearance, but underneath is a very young person, but in the middle is the manifestation card. The card, I always think of this as my Reiki card now. It's bringing the light down into the earth. So, bringing the energy of the universe into being. So what the universe is trying to tell you is that you can join these two people in a very nice, strong, loving relationship with children that are happy and well adjusted. It can be done through bringing in the energy of the universe, manifestation. And so these cards, the Abraham Hicks wellness cards, really have a lot to do with have a lot to do with manifestation, and that basically, that vibration, the law of attraction, and listening to some of those videos by Abraham Hicks may be a way to help you guys get started on the same page. So the card underneath the deck is My Joy. It's another joy card. My joy doesn't depend upon the approval of others. No effective guidance will ever be achieved by seeking the approval of others, for they all desire different things of you. Constant, pure guidance from Source comes forth from within you